on. Why do we not inject our quads?
Well, this could be a reason why.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplaysmartaids.com. Today we are going to be talking about the good old quad pin, the infamous shot location that I have historically warned against because of my own bad experience and just the countless random anecdotal findings I've had over the years of people having bad shots, either as a result of bad gear causing an infection, subsequent to that having to get fucking surgery on it or whatever it is, or an individual just having such bad post-injection pain that they're fucking crippled and have to gimp around while walking when you could otherwise have used a shot location that wouldn't fucking gimp you if you had a bad shot. So anyways, this is something that kind of reminded me of the subject is Ryan Russo. If you don't know Ryan Russo, he's a friend of mine and he is also a Gorilla Mind athlete. He posted a story on Instagram of his buddy and what happened to his quad after a bad shot.
Why do we not inject our quads?
Well, this could be a reason why. Very, very bad.
Boom. That's fucking hectic, dude. That is fucking a sight to behold and a half. So this is exactly why I say don't inject your quads. Reason being, well, I'll let him finish and then I'll give my elaboration.
This is like 3 years later, still giving me fucking problems.
Bad gear, right?
Yep. Don't fucking trust people out there.
So, bad gear, he says. 3 years later, still giving him problems. Another individual of note, Josh Bridgman, posted a video recently called The Dark Side of Taking Steroids, and he elaborates on his experience with a bad quad shot.
Not only that, but the actual injections and the oils that you're using. This is a brutal reality, this picture right here, of what can go wrong. And this was just a poor substance in a wrong position of my leg, and my leg blew up to twice the size. I was worried I was gonna have to get it amputated. The doctor was just like, what is going on here? Gave me antibiotics, they weren't working very well. And that's the reality, is that you're probably gonna end up getting underground lab stuff, and you're probably gonna get bad information as to where to inject. That was just the wrong injection for me. I put it in my piriformis, which is mental, but I got that from someone that I trusted, so I believed it, and it absolutely destroyed me. But another thing is actually getting fake gear. Like, it's a real thing when it's not legalized. People say they get pharma grade, do they? Only blood work can tell. I've had clients and myself, I've had gear that's been told me that it's X amount of milligrams, and according to my blood work, it's putting me low. That tells me that there's not as what it says on the tin. So
yeah, so especially with a lot of the compounds people are using nowadays, when you're getting tren, when you're getting EQ, when you're getting whatever, is this going to be pharma grade? Like, no, you're not getting this through an HRT clinic. You're not getting this through any means of legitimate pharmaceutical derivement, if that's a fucking word, deriving from a pharmaceutical source. So no, like, you're going to, if you're a bodybuilder who is doing contest preps or whatever it is, and again, even if you're not a bodybuilder, like, that's the hyper extreme example of a guy who's using gear. There are tons of individuals using synthetic AAS that are not just using bioidentical pharmaceutical testosterone at TRT levels. You're getting UGL shit, and 99% of the time. So no matter how pure your gear is, like, at the end of the day, you're getting UGL shit, and there is a chance for an issue. And obviously, for him, like Josh Bridgman, he mentioned he had a bad shot location. The other guy had bad gear in general. Me personally, my gear was totally fine. It was UGL, but I've actually had it tested and it was clean. It was just the fucking luck of the draw, bad shot. It was the exact right location. For whatever reason, quads can just be very problematic for some individuals, to a point that it can literally fucking debilitate you. I had the odd shot here and there where every shot would be perfect, and then randomly I'd have a shot that would just gimp me, and I'd be like having to walk to work and literally limping like I have a fucking peg leg. It was like the post-injection pain. Even aside from the fact that if you're going to get an infection and you're putting yourself at risk of an infection, why would you be injecting in a spot that, if you end up having to get something cut out, you care about that location? You know what I mean? Like, or obviously you care about where you're getting fucking a chunk cut out of you. But if you are not using such a volume of gear that requires you to rotate to multiple different sites outside of, your glutes, your ventral glutes, whatever it is, like, to me, quads should be one of the last locations you should pick. Now, again, it's not to say that it's a bad location for everyone or that it doesn't work. It works fine. There are a lot of individuals who've been pinning quads their entire life. All I can say is, anecdotally, the most hit or miss shot location where eventually many individuals end up with a random shot, a random aberrant shot that goes fucking bad for whatever reason. Sometimes it is bad gear and it causes an infection. And again, once you get an infection, where is like the least spot you want something cut out of you? It's going to be a fucking appendage or something that's like a big deal, especially if you're a bodybuilder on stage or just a normal individual. Like, do you want a chunk cut out of your fucking delt, arm, leg, like any of those places? No. Like, where's the least likely place you give a fuck about? Your glute, you know? Like, who is it? If I was to choose between getting a hunk of meat cut out of my quad and my glute, I would probably pick the glute. Now again, if you're a bodybuilder who's using high volume of fucking gear and you have to pin in multiple shot locations a week, maybe a different story where you're forced to go down to your quads or whatever it is. But for the majority of individuals, you're not using such a bolus of gear on such a frequent basis that requires you to rotate to quads, in my opinion. But again, it's not to say you can't fucking do it. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just the most risky location, in my opinion, of the shot location. So I would highly advise against it. Personally, my shot was with Pure Gear, like I mentioned. Went bad, wasn't even an infection. I randomly just had like internal bleeding in my leg that caused it to double in size to a point that I couldn't even bend my knee. And I had to get it drained just for relief because there was so much pain from the pressure around my fucking entire leg from the amount of fluid that had accumulated. So, you know, for me, it wasn't an infection, fortunately. Didn't need to get anything like cut out. I needed to literally get a cut in it to like release pressure. But for Russo's buddy, like that was a pretty fucking ruthless sight to behold, dude. Like he had to get a literal chunk cut out of him. And for Bridgman, you know, he obviously had a pretty shitty situation too. And there were a lot of individuals who had, you know, random bad quad shots that went awry. And sometimes it's with gear that was, you know, totally fine. Sometimes it was with dirty gear. And that's when you end up in an even more problematic situation. But in general, like this is a shot location where even if everything is perfect, you know, the shot is perfect, you know, the gear is perfect quality, blah, blah, blah. The post-injection pain in itself disqualifies it as a really good shot location, in my opinion. Like, who the fuck wants to walk around with a gimped leg when you can walk around with a sore ass? Like, does it make any logical sense? And, you know, to me, it doesn't, you know, it just makes no fucking sense to me. But again, it's not to say, I know there's gonna be individuals that are like, it's a perfectly fine location, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, it is fucking fine. I'm just saying, if you're trying to be as risk averse as possible, this is the most problematic spot I have encountered personally, as well as through my anecdotal findings from reports of other individuals. You know, absolute worst case scenario, you end up in a situation like Russo's buddy, and you know, best case scenario, obviously nothing happens, but there will often be individuals who, even if you don't get an infection, the post-injection pain can be like crippling to a point that it like fucks with your workouts. It fucks with your ability to walk around on a daily basis and like get stuff done in an efficient manner. Like, yeah, you can still get around and do stuff, but it's a lot more hindering than if you had a sore ass cheek. You know what I mean? So that is all I'm trying to say. You know, take from that what you will, obviously. And just a word to the wise that if you're getting into this stuff, you know, oftentimes one of the primary like first shot locations people will advise you use is quad. And to be honest, like that would be the last one I would advise using. So, you know, take from that what you will. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplacemordates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplacemordates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter. Said fucking BitChute. Don't actually follow me there. Snapchat, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you're gonna support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My TRT clinic, it's all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home. Get high quality oversight from doctors who actually know what they're talking about when it comes to hormone optimization, assessing your biomarkers and high quality diagnostics, and care about your health. We don't just make our markups on medications, we make our markups on the high quality services and medical oversight. Like, I don't actually give a fuck if you get on test or not, or whatever it is that, you know, our pharmacies might offer. To us and to me, I just care about having the highest quality doctors who provide the highest quality information. So if that is of interest, you can check it out in the video description below, as well as my recommended lab tests, diagnostics, Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas I designed myself from scratch, and the shirts I wear, like this shirt right here, you know, some of the stuff that I'm associated with, like Young LA, any of the other companies that help support the brand. There's coupon codes and whatnot that help support me down there, so you can check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.